Hello my friends, this is 𝗂𝗵𝘁 here, and in today's video we're going to wrap up our Armada series by going over some mistakes that you should avoid when running your Armadas. Hello my friends, live long and prosper. So in essence what you want to do is not waste these, the green over here, the blue over here, and the purple way over there, Armada directives. So in order to not do that, you really need to coordinate and try to gauge the power of the group that you're going to send towards the Armada. A good guideline would be for an uncommon, the green over here, Armada. You want to try to have between 25 and 30% of the target power. So whatever your target is, go crunch some numbers and figure out what range that is, and that's kind of your minimum that you want to be at so that you don't waste them. Now when it comes to your rares, which are the blue right above me here, you're going to want to try to be about 1/3 of that total power. So take that power, multiply it by 0.33, and crunch some numbers to figure out where you need to be at, because those are harder than those to get, and you don't want to be wasting them. Now, absolute hardest is going to be those way over there, the purple. For your epics, you get to have 500 of them. We're really close to being able to run one right now, but you really want to try to get your power within about 35 to 40% is what we've noticed so far in Live Long and Prosper. If you can end up in that 35 to 40% range, it's not a guarantee, depending on your crews and etc. That's a really good gauge to, or a good guideline for your epic armadas, so that you're not wasting those because they are very hard to come by. I'd say the second big mistake that a lot of people make is this. They just come straight in here, they hit the Armada, they just bam, host it. They didn't try to speak to anybody, try to figure out who's going to show up. They have no idea what power they have at their disposal to be able to properly gauge it. They don't know what crews are going on. They don't know how far away people are or what state their ships are in. Do not just click Armada and start one and just hope that people show up. You are gambling with your directives. That's a really bad thing to do. Coordinate in your alliance chat, your Discord, whatever you guys use to make sure that you're going to have people show up, what they're going to show up with, so that you can then choose the proper target and maximize your return. A third common mistake would be not bringing a hull breach crew and a burning crew. Burning crew you can live without sometimes if it is a short armada, not very many rounds, like teens, 20s, something like that, because then the background reason for having burning is that 1% extra hull damage it does per round. You're not guaranteed to have it most of the time anyways, and if it's really short, then you're kind of wasting your time potentially with burning. However, hull breach is almost always something you need to have. So not having a hull breach, especially, and in most cases a burning crew, is a big mistake you need to stop making. Number 4, of course, would be the opposite of what number 3 was. It would be having too many burning crews or too many hull breach crews. You do not need more than one hull breach or more than one way to apply hull breach in most situations. Sometimes it does help fill in the gaps, but for the most part, especially if you have Dorkin out there or Lorca, they're going to do the heavy lifting. You don't really need to go behind them and try to have another hull breach crew to try to make sure that it stays up. And burning crew, you really don't need more than one either. So you cannot stack like 2 copies of burning, 2 copies of hull breach on a target anyways. So you really only need one player to try to foot that responsibility for your party. I'd say a 5th, unfortunately pretty common mistake would be not paying attention to your below deck stats for your crew. So for instance here I have my very common Armada loadout that I do. It is extremely attack focused, so when I put it together I sort by my attack stat. If you're going with something morale focused, you're going to need to sort by defense and toss your highest defense below deck. In a lot of cases in the game in general, not just Armadas, you're probably going to want to sort by health and toss that down there. It's going to keep you in the fight more often. I like to make sure that I'm maxing out my bonuses over here more than anything else. So make sure that you are trying to max out those bonuses, and if you start to get close to ones, shift to something else. Try to keep all of those as high as you can possibly get them. It helps tremendously, but make sure that if you're doing something that triggers off of a particular stat, that is what you focus on. Do not neglect your lower deck. Almost the entire point of running an Armada, pretty much the entire point, is to get the loot, right? Is that you want to maximize the loot that you get. So one of the biggest mistakes you can make is to just launch an Armada once you find a target. After you have assembled your team, coordinated, figure out who's bringing what, and figured out what your strength numbers are and what sort of band you can operate within, you need to be checking your rewards See right here, we're 6632. Same zone, same level Armada right down here. Check this rewards, 6716. So once you figure that out, you need to go check. Sometimes you have to bounce around to other systems. You may even have to go to like a different faction space if you really want to maximize your epic rewards. But you need to be checking those rewards. Don't be a noob and totally just attack whatever's close or whatever the first thing you see is. Make sure that you are maximizing your return on these directives. 𝘂𝗶𝘁𝗵 published this list not too long ago of things that are due to the size and power Armada targets are not affected by all these items over here. That's kind of a little weird to read over there. I will actually swap that out. I've reformatted this so you can read it a little better. So due to their size and power, Armada targets are not affected by flying research bonuses and abilities. Just in case you're not looking at the screen, I'll go ahead and read these things. So as far as research goes, defensive tactics does not apply in Armadas. The Burrell's cloaking system, the Gladius class secret weapon doesn't apply in Armadas. And the officer effects, Grace Chin's energy absorber doesn't work. Kalan's objective defense doesn't work. Tal's resistance doesn't work. Mara, wife of a Dahar, doesn't work. Huag's excel under pressure. Severus spreading fire. Yuki Sulu's disrupting field. John Harrison's sabotage. Marlena Moreau's no fear. Cadet Nyoto Yuhara scan the enemy. Fixes fake communiques. DJ Aoki shatter defenses, and Chang's dogs of war. So if you're relying on any of these things that you see over here on this list, they don't work in Armadas. 𝘂𝗶𝘁𝗵's even told you that there's other stuff that might not work in Armadas, but this is the official list from 𝘂𝗶𝗁 of things that you shouldn't do in an Armada. The absolute worst mistake that you can possibly make when it comes to these Armadas is not checking out the other videos that we've done on Armadas. This wraps up our Armadas series that we've done. Is about 6 videos now. We had talked about possibly doing Borgs, but I don't really see a reason to do that because the Borgs are kind of limited only to an event window. We did one not long ago, but then the last one was 4 months before that. Most players aren't going to run into that very often. I do have the footage. I can toss it together if the event starts to roll around again. That way people who have no idea what they're doing can possibly get in and experience Borg Armadas the way that we did without having to fail so many of them. We kind of got our feet under us after a little while, and we can share that. But when it comes to general Armadas and specific crews for things that you can trigger on a daily basis, that's what this whole series was about. Hope you got a great amount of use out of it. If there's anything that I can do for you, leave it in the comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Live long and prosper, my friend. Hey, we hope you liked the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all the usual jazz helps us grow the channel. But we do have a direct method to support the channel down below in the PayPal description, but all the indirect methods are perfectly fine for us. Share it with other people you think might get some value out of it, help them grow, those alliance mates, server mates that you care for, and your real life friends, so maybe they'll come join us in this awesome game that we all love. Thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate it. Live long and prosper, and we'll catch you next time.